At Salem, also has a win at Iowa on his Arca resume.
We can see that inside line has gained about a car. Oh, trouble already!
Through the tri-oval. 78 goes around. The 98, their teammates. It's a big one at Daytona. It all started when the 78 of Cole Powell got turned sideways. Gus Dean had nowhere to go and under caution early here at the World Center of Racing.
This is exactly what these guys didn't want to do. They wanted to get some laps under their belt, just feel these things out here. Watch about 3 or 4 lines back. The 78 definitely moved to the inside. Don't know if he had any help. Maybe it turned him sideways right into his teammate, the 98 of Gus Dean, that pushed him back up the racetrack right in front of the pack.
Look at Kevin Thomas Jr. in that 22, gets minimal damage, middle of your screen. This is a kid that had never raced on a facility bigger than a half-mile prior to today, and that was a pretty nice save by him.
You can't tell from that angle whether the 78 got a little bit of contact that turned him around down into the inside line where he collected his teammate, Gus Dean. See all these drivers that...
That's Cole Powell on the outside.
Look at the rear of that car. Look how close the 83 is. Derek Lancaster. Definitely contact from behind that sent him down across the racetrack.
That's unfortunate because those cars have been fast, not only this weekend, but were really good when we tested here in January. See what it looked like from the view of Sarah Cornett-Ching on board here.
Dylan looked in the 82 to her inside. She just blipped the throttle for just a second, and that quickly she was by the incident. See her waiting out the window to the cars behind her.
Sean Core, one of those that just missed getting involved.
Dylan Lupton as well in the 82 car.
And look at all the cars way back behind him that were able.
And the 05 got him, John West Townley. Got to make sure you give Mark Thompson some room down there. There's some contact. They're not going to survive. Are they going to survive this?
They are not. We got one on the wall. Second caution of the day. And among those involved, the 83 of Derek Lancaster got a piece of the action. Mark Thompson, and look at that. Matt Kurziewski thought that was him in that outside lane.
It really causes anxious moments when you lap a car like that. You have to give that guy room down there. You want to stay tucked up with a car in front of you, and you want to stay pretty close to that inside. They didn't give Mark enough room.
Used it. They were forced to because of the slower vehicle, Mark Thompson, and it just didn't work out into turn 1.
See, all these guys want to try to get down as low as they can. The 83 of Lancaster made contact with the 66 of Thompson, and Mark tried his best to save that car, but had to use a little bit more racetrack to do it. See, they've already made a little bit of contact. You see Dylan, somehow he's going to avoid that. He was right sec in the middle of that in the 82 car.
Races here in the Arca Racing Series, and the teams can own it with a guarantee of 1,200 miles.
No question about it. Oh, we've got hard contact as down the back straightaway. A couple of cars have come together, and the 64 of Eric Cottle has made significant contact with the inside wall here at Fairgrounds Speedway.
Hamilton, you're involved with this team as an owner and sometimes driver. That name's synonymous with Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. His dad, Bobby Hamilton, and Bobby
Deep as the closing laps of the General Tire 200.
Oh, trouble!
And we've got a crash. Bo Lamastus is involved. He goes sliding down to the inside. The number 13 of George Cushman hits the wall to the inside. The yellow is out with 10 to go.
They were running so close, Ray. You just wondered when something like this was going to happen.
Lamastus with heavy damage on that race car.
Bo was doing a great job. Remember, his best career finish came just in February. Busted radiator for Bo Lamastus.
17th, John West Townley out of this race, and Josh Williams with 1. Now we look back there, you see Terry Jones is on the high side. Oh, and Bo got tapped, looked like maybe by Kurziewski, eh?
Yeah, and here comes Terry Jones. He runs into Cushman, as well as possibly even Bo in the 42.
7 or 8 cars got through that pretty well, though. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, this will be a good view right here. Watch about 6-8 rows back.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody got in the back of Bo, and it turned him sideways, got into the outside safer barrier, and then bounced off and into these other cars.
Yeah, it was Kurt.
And then he lost so much momentum that Matt really gave him a shot.
The good news was when Bo's car got turned sideways, he didn't hit the inside line of guys. So 6 or 7 cars, including Bobby Gerhart, did not get torn up because Bo did a nice job there.
Yeah, tough break for the guys involved, though. Gonna do something with Josh Williams. Just 2.5 laps to go.
The spotters have got to be telling these guys, oh, and Gerhart gets shuffled out. Oh, hard contact into the wall. The number 14 of Dustin Knowles really slams into the wall. Another car, 2 cars involved. Gerhart is junk.
Mark Thompson, the 66, involved.
So the yellow flag is going to come out here, and the Arca officials are saying to us, because of impending darkness, they are going to throw the checkered flag here. And I believe our winner is going to be Josh Williams. First look at this as we see Krzyzewski coming up there, and it looks like the 22 of Boswell is on his bumper, and all 3 cars are locked together as Bobby Gerhart's in the front.
There's the contact right there. That shoves Bobby down under the double yellow line. Now he's got to get back in position. It looks like maybe Dalton Sargent got into the 14 car and turned him around.
Yeah, Dustin Knowles hit that wall very, very hard with the right front and a couple of times spinning around on the safer barrier.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with Bobby Gerhart getting back out in line. It looks like maybe the 66 of Dalton Sargent just barely nudged the 14 of Knowles, put him in the outside wall.
And when Gerhart and Krzyzewski were side by side, that's what clipped the front end of Corbin Forrester, and Forrester goes down into the inside safer barrier.
Well, let's take another look back behind that.
Oh,
See,
no,
Dalton Sargent got turned into the inside wall. Bobby Gerhart was just trying to go by on the inside. He got into the inside wall as well as the 66.
Going backwards, he goes from the lead to third, and
trouble.
we've got Will Kimmel into the wall hard in that SO Contracting number 69. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Boy, it sure is. And that's the first time we've seen one of these composite cars really hit hard. Probably a little bit of contact from the 98 of Brady Boswell.
And that's right in the center of the tunnel turn.
Yeah, that turn is a little bit challenging by yourself.
Yep.
Without being too wide or getting a little bit of help like it looked like Will got.
So Boswell with a little bit of contact. Now let's take a look on our onboard for Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, this is our General Tire onboard. We're going to watch along here. You see, look like Brady got his left sides down below the yellow line. It's pretty rough.
Landon Huffman spun his tires a bit, and the number 25 of Hessert is going to go hard into the wall as we get ready to restart. 4 cars are piled up, including Landon Huffman and the number 98 of Quentin Bear.
5 cars involved in total, all cars on the lead lap. That's how quickly things can change here at Berlin Raceway.
Did Hessert have a right rear tire that went down? I can't tell, but it's really odd that he just spun through the center of that corner, not completely even up through the gears yet.
That is a lot of damage to fix. We also know the 22 machine of Clayton Weatherman is involved. He's just sitting on the track aside from this quadrant of cars.
Do with it, but here goes Hessert. Oh no, it's contact.
Townley went right through the corner there.
Yeah, John West plowed in there. Looks like that's what got got the 25 of Hessert sideways. He rolls up in there, and look, Landon Huffman is on the high side and absolutely nowhere to go. The 22 of Weatherman, it appears, pushes the 98 into the pile.
And one thing about this restart, look at how John West Townley entered the corner. It looked like the car almost rear hopped like he's on a road course that might have had some wheel spin issues with the 05, sending him up the racetrack. It's a very flat corner entry on the bottom of turn number 1, upsetting that Jive Communications Chevrolet enough to get him up into the racetrack and into the
position. Josh Williams gives up the lead, and we've got 19 laps to go. But no, it's not over. Williams down to the bottom as they go through 1 and 2. They're side by side and they touch.
Great veteran move by Williams, and look at that, they're both off the backstretch.
Oh, they go off in the grass, and there's damage to 77. Car 6 all the way down. May have made contact with the tire wall, and both of them have damage. I said 55 may not have a shot. Well, I changed my story. Wow, that was awesome.
Great patience by both drivers. That's Josh Williams all the way down behind the scoreboard into the foam barriers. They've got tires set there.
What did I tell you at the top of the show? You can't run side by side and get off in the grass.
Ragged edge here off of turn number 2. The 6 machine of Williams gets off the corner, gets up into the 77, and they both just had so much momentum carried down the backstretch.
He is locking the brakes up right there. Look at this, side by side through 1 and 2. Little bit of contact there. and just up the racetrack they both go. You're getting those right side tires in the marbles up there in that spot I told you can't be in. And Briscoe comes out of this pretty well because he's able to cut the wheel to the left real hard and stay up on the asphalt.
But notice Williams' car twitched to the right as he went up the banking and on the back straightaway, and that really sent him into a no-win situation. Both cars carrying so much.
I'm sponsor for Chad Finley and about everything he does, and really nice. Oh, trouble! Oh, there goes Dalton Sargent right around in the same spot, almost exactly where he spun it earlier, but as he wrecks, then another of cars are going to come in.
Look at Haley in the 74.
Heavy damage to that Braun race car, and it looks like Justin Haley's night is going to be done, as well as Brady Boswell, who is clobbered in there. Both of those cars with significant damage, and also Dalton Sargent, who made contact with the inside wall.
Yeah, it looked like Dalton Sargent drove in there. Well, let's take a look now. You see Dalton Sargent get into Travis Miller in the 8. But behind them is where the trouble's going to be. You see the inside contact with the wall for Dalton Sargent.
But right behind that group, a few of them came in there and made some pretty significant contact. There you see the 55 spinning. He goes down in front of Hesser.
Yeah, you see Dylan Martin, the 48, turns around. And these guys lock the brakes up, the two of Cicerelli. And a lot of these guys, like Haley and Boswell, had already committed to the high side.
Right.
And you can't just stop these things on a dime, Ray, and turn left and avoid them.
Well, look at all the skid marks. These guys were hard on the brakes.
Yeah, watch, we're going to ride along with Gustine. He gets turned around. He got hit in the back and turned around. That may have been the best thing could happen to him.
With no damage there.
With no damage, you see.
And this is where her ride was, as leader Shane Lee was right next to her.
Yeah, and he got into the quarter panel, and as she brushed that outside wall, it was the big hit that happened down on the inside safer barrier that caused all of that damage to the front end of her Dickey's Toyota. And that car, Jim, is absolutely junk in every part. Shane Lee to the outside, just the slightest amount of contact, got her sideways, and watch this inside hit.
That track gets so narrow off of turn number 2. That had been a problem spot with the old pavement, and here again, let's take it right on board with Sarah. Going around another car a bit slower, trying to stay in her racing mode, and in the lead lap, and that's swallowed up right there. One touch for the left front fender of our race leader, Shane Lee, on the outside.
Man, that was absolutely a wallop to the inside wall. She's had, this is her 8th start tonight, 1 top 10, but that car is going to be headed to the junk pile. Sarah Cornett Ching brings out our 2nd caution right here at Kentucky Speedway. More right after these messages. Chase Briscoe, they're racing side by side for 2nd.
You know, we mentioned this is only the 2nd.
Oh, Briscoe's in the wall as Townley makes contact with the right rear quarter panel. There were 3 wide coming off of turn number 2, and the wrecks continue as the 15 of Zane Smith hits the wall really hard. So Townley, the 77 and 15, all involved here. And our championship contenders in trouble. Lots of damage to that race car that they just recently repaired.
And that was a pure racing accident. Same opportunity to pit, and he ended up winning 2 races. And at Madison, he just had a really good.
Oh, another crash as Shane Lee goes around, and that's Weatherman. So 2 cars with a spin, and Weatherman was running in 4th place, Lee in 5th, and we are going to go under our 6th caution of the night as we were closing in on 5 laps to go. So some more hard racing trouble here down to the inside. That's Weatherman. They're racing with the number 28.
3rd, 4th, and 5th. And Mark Thompson just comes up in front of Weatherman.
Nowhere to go on that one, and that's a lot of damage.
Notice how the 66 car trying to stay low, just could not hold it on the banking in those speeds.
So Shane Lee on the high side gets a little bit of damage. Weatherman,
a lot of damage.
Hit panel.
Whoa.
Look a little bit loose on the bottom. Look at Briscoe sideways.
Briscoe racing it down through the corner, and there's a little contact as 799 of Cindric is going to do it. Michael Self will go by. 4 or 5 cars going to go in, and there's his teammate. The number 22 is sideways, and it looks like Snyder's going to spin.
Boy, Majeski does an amazing job getting by. As does,
Gus Dean made it through there, but it looks like the 10 and the 6 made contact, and that puts Weatherman hard in to that number 22 of Myatt Snyder. A lot of damage for Kyle Weatherman.
Man, that's a couple hard hits right there. We can see Myatt moving around in that car. You see him taking the steering wheel off and his gloves. There he is.
Heavy damage to the left front of that Louisiana hot sauce race car here.
See, there's Albert coming off of turn number 2. See the 77 really loose, makes a little bit of contact with his teammate, the 99 of Cindric, but he's lost all his momentum. See Myatt Snyder, now they're 4 wide as they enter the corner. Chase comes down a little bit, they make a little bit of contact, loosens up the 22 of Snyder.
Boy, I thought he was going to be able to save it on that very first time, but then the car just got away. And as he goes up the racetrack, it appeared that Josh Williams must have made some contact with, somebody. That
Looked
might
like
have been
Brett Holmes,
yeah,
the
Brett
23
Holmes.
car, and the 10 of Weatherman got together.
And it just takes that little bit of contact to be loose, and man, was there heavy contact. Here it goes again, guys.
See him get loose there on the inside of the 55.
And when it happens, it just bottles up the whole field behind him. And, you see the 32 has to lift so much. And when you go 4 wide in the corner, and I don't think the 77 even knew that they were going to be in that position. He's looking to his outside right now.
Yeah, I don't think he realized that they were double file underneath him. Came down a little bit, got into Myatt. Some guys really did a nice job getting. Watch Majeski in that 17. He's going to turn hard right, completely miss Snyder. You see Mason Mitchell, the 98 Shane Lee going by on the inside. Gustine all the way to the outside wall, into the outside wall to avoid running into the 22. Austin Cindric missing Myatt, but there's the contact right there. Hard hit for Kyle Weatherman.
So Brett Holmes, there's Josh Williams. He comes rolling through on that initial shot going so fast. I thought he was right behind Weatherman, but he was able to miss that completely. But boy, heavy damage in every corner for car number 10. We're certainly thinking about Kyle Weatherman as he limped away from his race car to go to the ambulance.
Here it is at real time. It's amazing the speeds these cars get here.
Majeski gets by, Gustine gets by, and hard contact for Kyle Weatherman. Morgan Baird slides in there along with Nick Higdon, and all those guys get a little bit of damage from the aftermath of this crash between car 10 and 22.
Looks like maybe Kyle Weatherman came down to the apron and then he saw the 34 of Mike Basham
Inside the race car, and he's like, oh, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Got to go up by the wall.